learning how to create a simple elevator in Unity. There aren't really any videos on it right now that I could find, but I just set up a simple DOTween thing, and it works pretty well. So here's just what will, in the end, be coming out with just the elevator part. None of the rest of the part is really part of it. So if we press the up arrow, we will rise up on the platform, and this may not be the most efficient way to do it, but for beginners it is really good. And then once we get to the height, the maximum height, we could like get back on and press the down arrow, and we will go down. You can also improve this through a couple various ways, and we'll talk about those later. So let's get to it. Okay, so we are gonna just create an empty scene or empty project. This is not really an empty project, but don't want to really clog up the computer too much. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the asset store and go to just search DOTween and wait for it to load, and just get the free one and import it into your project. When you import it, there will be a panel that pops up like this saying you need to set up DOTween. Click that button and that'll set everything up for your computer. So now we can actually get moving. So first of all, just create our basic little where we're going to be testing things. So just set that to 0. And then we can just rename this like play space, and then create a cube inside of that, and this is going to be our destination. So we want to get up to here, and then maybe get off and walk around. So we can make this a little bit bigger. Actually, we'll make it like that. There. So now we want to actually think about what we're going to do. And what we're kind of trying to do is make a thing go up, and then also, so when you get on the elevator, when it detects that you're on the elevator, you can press a button and it goes up. And if you're on the elevator and it's already at the top, you can press a button and it goes down. So to do that, we'll have to have a couple different parameters and just different ways of doing things. So we're going to be using DOTween since it can do a very smooth transaction from the bottom to the top or top to the bottom. So let's get started. So you want to go into your scripts folder and go to create and create new C# script and just name it elevator. So open that script, and I'm just using Notepad++ for this, but you want to open that script, and this is what the final thing, our final product, is going to look like. So I'll kind of explain it through, and you can have time, you can just pause the video to copy it down. So pretty much we want two public integers that are the max height and the minimum height of our elevator, so pretty much the range that it goes up and down. And then the time to move is a very simple way of pretty much just saying like how long it's going to take to go up and down, because if you have a super long elevator, you want it to take more time to go up. But if you have, say, a small elevator, you want it to take less time. You could also go into making this even more complex by taking the the difference of the max height and min height and equating how long it should take to go up by that, which would be fairly simple. But this is more of getting the concept across here. So we might be able to do that in another video. It would take like 2 minutes, pretty much. So in start and update, we don't really have anything, and but on trigger stay is where we're going to have pretty much everything. So what we want to do is whenever the player enters the range, and we'll have a trigger on the player that pretty much triggers are used to detect when different things like trigger into each other, and also we'll be having the player will be tagged as player. I think it's automatically tagged as player though, so we won't really need to do that. We'll just be using the Unity FPS controller, and then so it's pretty much saying if the what it's colliding with kind of is the player, then if the player is pressing the up arrow, then then do something pretty much. And then also that happens with down arrow. So up arrow would be going up, down arrow would be going down. And then for up arrow, it's if the elevator, which this script will be attached to, is its position is less than the maximum height, because if it's at the maximum height, it doesn't really need to go up anymore, so it just saves processing power this way. And then this one obviously says if the Y position of the elevator is greater than the minimum height, because if it's all the way at the bottom, you can't go down anymore. So what we do here is we want to be using DOTweening, and that's the DOTween engine pretty much. And then we're going to do a transform. That's the transform of the object, and do move Y. So that's moving the Y coordinate of the object. And then this is where the final position is going to be, and this is how long it takes to get there. So it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're going to the top, you want the final position to be maximum height, and if you're going to the bottom, you want it to be minimum height. And then the time to move is just how far it takes to go up, how long it takes to go up, I mean. So I'll give you a moment to write this down, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, so after you've copied this script here down, we can go back into our scene and just import, remember to import the characters package from the asset store. So if I just go here and search FPS, it'll probably pick up. So let's see which one I want. Just do this one. Doesn't really matter. They're like 5, just from different imports. So now we have our little player here. So if we hit play, then you can see we can move and look around and stuff. And we need to get up there, and we can't right now unless we gain superpowers to jump. So I'll guide you through this process, and really you could make the elevator a cylinder or even a sphere if you wanted to, but for this we're just going to use a cube elevator, which is probably the most common elevator shape. So first of all, we need to shrink this down to probably about 0.3, and then we can make this, let's say, 3 by 3. So it's a substantial platform for the player to stand on. So we can just put that right about there, and then we need to add our elevator script, so just search elevator in there, and our minimum height can just be 0. I mean, it's not exactly at 0, but close enough, and 0 is just good number. And then our maximum height can either be found by looking at this one, but sometimes a better way to figure it out is just dragging this thing all the way up to the top. And we're probably going to need to move this over to the side, over this way a little bit more. So then we can move this down a little bit, and then our max height can be whatever that number is. It doesn't really matter. It just where it looks like it's positioned smoothly with it. So now we just want to move this back down to 0, and then we already added elevator script. See, this happens sometimes. It's quite odd, but yeah. Okay, so I figured out what the problem was. It's you can always change it, but we'll just leave it as is for now. It's because this is supposed to be an integer, not a float, and a float is considered a decimal too. An integer cannot really be a decimal. So that was all. I just rounded it up to 15, and it works. So just round yours to however, and that should work. So yeah, and then we also need to set this time to move. We'll just set it at like 10 for now, say. And now, if we do it, guess what? It's not going to work. So, the reason it isn't going to work, we'll get to that in a sec. First, just like color this a different color. Just create a material and color it that. Well, you don't really have to do that, just in the video. It makes it easier to see. But what we forgot to do is actually add a well, two things. A box collider that is a trigger onto this, and then what you need to do is you need to make the Y size a little bit higher so that it just like probably 5 is good, and then just move it up so that it detects when the player's actually inside of it. And so you see we've created this kind of box that when the player stands in, it'll detect the player. And also we have to go on to the player and we just have to add a where is it? Box collider that is a trigger. So now let's test this. So we're standing right on top of the elevator, and oops, we might want to make this platform a little bit bigger. So there, much better. I'm feeling not myself today. So let's just move that out for the moment. What I had done is actually change the scale of that one too. So let's see. This should be working. It might be. Is this one? It is not tagged. So we just need to make sure the first-person controller is tagged as a player, and now it should work. So if we look down, we're on the elevator. If we press it, it goes up. The weird noise is because I don't know if you could hear that, but because of the footsteps, the way the footsteps work on the first-person controller. For me, I just always turn footsteps off, so we can just turn the audio source off, or we need to exit play mode and then turn the audio source off. So now we shouldn't get that weird noise when we go in and go up. So now we're fairly smoothly going up, and once we're at the top, which is right here, we can get off and do like some mission up here, and get back on the elevator and go back down. So there's one other thing I want to talk to you about, and that should not take very long. Just always remember, save your scene. But anyways, in here we have this wonderful little time to move, and going down we actually make it slower in the script, so it takes twice as much time to go down, and that is for a reason. That is because of if you go down the same speed as you go up, you drop too fast, and again, you can fairly easily do this, but what you kind of need to do in professional elevators is you actually move the character with the elevator, so it's more of a the platform is moving along, like the player's moving along with the elevator. So you could do kind of something like that to make it a little bit smoother. But yeah, so now in the end we have this wonderful little elevator. We can hit the up arrow and we go up. It's a little bit shaky. There are different ways you can fix this, and then if you hit the down arrow, we slowly descend downward. So thank you for watching. This is being used in one of my friend and I's games that probably is never going to be sold or anything. It's just a fun little game that we're making. Sci-fi, as you saw earlier. So we'll do some videos and cool stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and see you in another video.